Greetings, everyone, and welcome to yet another DVD Blu-ray book update video. Yeah, this time we got a big buttload pile of stuff to go through today. So, yeah, just a big, good old, thrift store haul, I guess we would call it. This time today on the media files. Welcome back. So, I went to a local thrift store just the other day and just kind of browsed around and found a whole load of stuff for basically prices that were next to nothing. We're talking like dollar here, 50 cents there. Hey, I'm like, okay, I'll take those prices and stuff. So I figured let's start off with the Blu-rays first, yeah, because that's pile is kind of the shortest one out of them. Up first is a classic. I wouldn't really say classic, but it was just kind of an interesting, an interesting science fiction movie that came out, and it was all CG related. Yeah, the title sounded interesting, and the overall look of it looked kind of interesting. Yeah, I mean, well, I remember when it came out, it didn't do so hot, but overall, I mean, if you're looking just for a fun little adventure type of sci-fi adventure movie, you may dig it. I'm, of course, talking about Battle for Terra. Yeah, it has all this library, crap all over it, but hopefully I'll be able to take those stickers off and try to find a Blu-ray case for it. I mean, overall, it looks fairly decent because I remember having a pretty decent cast in it. That it had Chris Evans, Danny Glover, Dennis Quaid, Brian Cox, and James Garner of all people in it, and it just sounded very interesting. And I'm like, well, let's just give it a shot and see what it is. I mean, I think I only paid like 50 cents for it, so I'm not really that worried about the pricing, So up next we have what kind of film is it? It's a Vietnam film. Yeah. With this movie, it was directed by Mel Gibson, and also no, actually I don't think it was. Was it starred by him? No, actually it was not. It is actually a Mel Gibson starred in it, and the writer of Braveheart wrote and directed it. Yeah. I'm, of course, talking about We Were Soldiers. Yeah, I mean, literally for 50 cents. I kid you not, 50 cents. I'll take these stickers off here. I hate when people throw stickers all over it and whatnot. But, it looks like a really decent movie, because I remember listening to the soundtrack quite a bit for a certain, I think it was like one of the couple songs on there that just looked pretty cool. And I think this is one that I've only seen bits and pieces of because I don't really remember it that well. But overall, hey, I mean, any kind of war movie is fine with me because I like all that military stuff. So up next we have two Blu-rays from the Criterion collection. Yeah, I got a couple of Criterion updates. One that I've been looking for a while, and then the other one I didn't think I was ever going to find, but hey, I managed to find it for $1 a piece. So, first up is the director's his film debut. Yeah, one of the I like to call the Three Amigos. Yeah, that's Del Toro, Inarritu, and I cannot remember the third. The director of Gravity. So with that, we have Inarritu's first film, Amos Perreros. Yeah, I remember seeing that Criterion was finally going to get this, and that they were going to really beef up the bonus features, and they were going to do a real nice update for it, and they did. They really did. And hopefully I could get, some of these labels off of there because I hate it when they put stuff like that on there. You'll probably hear me say that quite a bit. So up next is one movie that I remember hearing a lot about when it was coming out, especially because it was on the independent level. But I kind of looked at it more carefully, and I'm like, wait a minute, I know those actors. How about Kylo Ren and Black Widow having an argument? Yeah, I am of course talking about Marriage Story. Yeah. It's like a fun, independent, rom-com type of movie. But the one scene I kind of remember is basically the argument scene that happens in the film, or at least one of many. But it just looks like it was such a well-made movie for an independent film. And mind you, this came out the same year as Rise of Skywalker, and it really shows Adam Driver's, his range as an actor. I mean, sure, he's great as Kylo Ren, and so is Scarlett Johansson as Black Widow, but they really kind of show some stuff that you really don't see that much in independent movies. If Let's see, but who else? Oh yeah, this movie also co-stars legendary actors Alan Alda and Julie Haggerty, of all people. Now, I have not seen her in anything since the Airplane movies. If you haven't seen those comedies, check them out. And so, on with the DVDs. Yeah, this one has basically an all-star cast. It sounded kind of interesting, like an independent, drama or whatever. It's here starring none other than Denzel Washington and the Joker himself, Jared Leto, as well as Freddie Mercury, Rami Malek. We are, of course, talking about The Little Things. Yeah, I mean, it's this independent movie sounds pretty interesting for like a low budget type of film, but not only that, you get literally 3 Academy Award winners in one movie, and it just looks interesting, like an interesting cop type of thriller type of movie or whatever. So, up next is just a bonus disc that I found, because I know I have all the movies, but it does not have the specific bonus disc. I am, of course, talking about Yippee-Ki-Yay, the bonus disc. Yeah, I mean, for $1.95, I mean, you can't go wrong with this. I mean, it's kind of hard to find just on its own, because I know it's an exclusive bonus disc to I believe it's the Die Hard 4-disc edition, because it looks like this came out around the time of Live Free and Die Hard. Up next is a classic tale of terror, one that I have never seen, but I've always heard great things about it. I'm, of course, talking about Adrian Lyne's classic Jacob's Ladder. Yeah. Now, I've never seen this. I've heard great things about it, and I know it's kind of weird, but Adrian Lyne kind of makes weird movies anyways. But, it just looks interesting, and hopefully it's a good movie. Up next, we have a movie based on a true person. Yeah, true events. This one stars Denzel Washington and is basically, I think, Spike Lee's probably his best movie from what I've heard. I've never seen it, but I can't wait to finally sit down and actually watch the whole thing. I know it's long. I'm, of course, talking about Malcolm X. Yeah, the 2-disc special edition. And it's got tons and tons of bonus features on here, as well as a couple of documentaries. And not only that, it actually comes with 2 versions of the movie. Actually, apparently there's the 1992 version, which is the Spike Lee movie. And then apparently there is a 1972 movie, which I'm gonna guess maybe that's a documentary. Maybe, I don't know. I'll have to pop the discs in and watch it at some point. Up next, we have a couple of action movies here that sounded pretty cool. One of them I knew came out around the time of 9/11, and nobody really wanted to see any of that type of movie, but they kind of had no choice to release it in theaters at the time, because it was basically already about time for it to come out before 9/11 even happened. But since then, I don't think the director has really done much since this movie, as far as I can tell. But we have none other than Arnold Schwarzenegger in Collateral Damage. Yeah. This movie is directed by Andrew Davis, who is well known for making the Harrison Ford classic film, The Fugitive. I'll do a run through of all these movies at a later date and kind of do like a, one by one synopsis of it because we have a lot to cover today. Up next, found a trilogy of movies. One I have seen, the other two I have not, but it stars Wesley Snipes, and of course I am talking about the Art of War Trilogy. Yeah, now I know the third one does not star Wesley Snipes, it stars somebody else, but hey, you got all three movies in one package deal. Not bad at all for $1. What can I say? $1. Up next, I have seen the first one in this series. I have not seen the second one yet because I had no idea that they were doing a second one. But I know the first one is really, really good. It's a classic story of firefighters. Yeah, the first movie stars Kurt Russell. And, it was also directed by Ron Howard. Music was done by Hans Zimmer. I'm, of course, talking about the Backdraft collection. Yeah, it has Backdraft 1 and Backdraft 2 in it. Now, the first movie I have seen, because I know Hans Zimmer's score, I'm pretty familiar with that one because I listen to it all the time. But I know there was a Japanese cooking show that used the main theme of the first movie. Now, I know the second movie is kind of more based where they're kind of doing the same thing with like every sequel. After so many years, the sequel comes out and it takes place with the son or the daughter of the character. That's kind of basically what the second one kind of looks like to me. But I've never seen the second one, and I hope it's good. So I'm not going to complain for 50 cents. So I'm like, okay. Up next, we have a musical. Yeah, I don't do very many musicals at all, but I love the person who directed it, and I love his show, Hamilton. Yeah. I'm, of course, talking about Lin-Manuel Miranda's directorial debut in The Heights. Yeah, not bad at all. Oh, I'm sorry. This isn't... no, Lin-Manuel directed... he did the music for it. John M. Chu directed this movie. John M. Chu did... he's kind of done lots of dance-related movies, but he did direct G.I. Joe Retaliation, which I thought was really, really good. So hopefully it's good, because I love Lin-Manuel's music. Up next, we have a military movie with James Franco and Tyrese Gibson in Annapolis. Yeah. Now, I've never seen this. It looks interesting. And, like I say, I'm a sucker for any kind of military type of movie that there is. So, and what have you. So, up last, as far as the DVDs go, let's go back quite a ways to the early times of movies. I'm, of course, talking about none other than the Duke himself, John Wayne. That's right, 20 movies, or rather, in this case, if you can see it very well, you might pause it or whatever. Basically, 19 movies and 12 episodes of a TV series that he did. Even though they call it 20 movies, get it right. If you're gonna package it that way, make sure it's 20 movies and not a TV show. But hey, I'm not gonna complain. There's probably stuff in here of his that I don't have. Now I know there are a couple of them in here that I do have, such as McClintock and let's see here. I think there was another one out of his that's in here. I believe Angel and the Badman. So. Yeah, so that's a nice little decent video movie haul there. So with that, let's get on with the books. Yeah, this is going to be a little bit of a longer video today. So as I mentioned in one of my book update videos, I got Peter Benchley's Jaws. Yeah. However, I found another book of his for 50 cents. I'm not kidding. 50 cents. I'm, of course, talking about The Deep. Yeah. And I'm not joking. 50 cents right there. Not bad at all. Up next, we have a famous bestseller based on an actual World War II event with a former president. Yeah. This president, obviously, he was in World War II. And unfortunately, as some of the world events happened, became basically the most watched independent, or not really independent, but just film of all time to figure out how he was assassinated. I am, of course, talking about PT 109, JFK in World War II. Yeah. It just sounded interesting because I saw it and it had like the old school looking spines on it. And I love that because sometimes you just don't know what it's going to be until you see like those old classic, oil pastel paintings for the covers and whatnot. So, up next, we have a classic spy thriller. Yeah, now it's been made into a film starring Gary Oldman, and I've seen bits and pieces of it, and it looks really good. I hope the book is good. I'm, of course, talking about John le Carre's classic spy novel, Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy. Yeah. And also, for 50 cents. Yeah, I can't beat that for 50 cents. So up next, we have let's see here, another military-related book, but this time it kind of sounds like it's one of those 80s thrillers types of military books where you got the guy who goes on a rampage, checks out all the bad guys and what have you. However, though, it says, and I quote, "This is the best damned action yarn I've read in years," from none other than Hunt for Red October author Tom Clancy. I am, of course, talking about A.J. Quinnell's Siege of Silence. Yeah, it sounds like one of those cheesy, 80s movies that, that Canon would make. I have no idea if they've actually made a movie of this. But it also sounds like one of those Chuck Norris type of movies. kind of similar to Code of Silence or whatever, and it just sounded interesting. So I'm like, yeah, why not? Just give it and it was only like 30 cents, so I can't, complain about that. So up next, we have a book based on a sci-fi comedy series that was really popular. It still is. And also it's a very independent comic book series. However, this is an original novel based in the series. Yeah. I'm, of course, talking about none other than Men in Black, The Green Saliva Blues. Yeah. I believe this, I'm not sure exactly when it takes place, but I want to say it takes place between books, between Men in Black 1 and 2, I believe. I've never read it. All I just saw was it just had Men in Black on the front cover, and I'm like, hey, why not give it a shot for 30 cents? Like, okay. Let's see here. Up next, let's see here. We have the last couple of books we have here are video game related books. Yeah. First up is a classic sci-fi space shooter, Wing Commander. Yeah. Now this novel is entitled False Colors. As you can tell, I'm not sure if this was a re-release or whatnot. Because it is advertising the Wing Commander movie when it came out in 1999. Of course, I was all excited about it because I remember playing these games like crazy on the computer way back in the day when I was a kid. And I have several of these novels. I believe this is one of the only ones that I do not have. I think there's only like one or two left that I need to find. And then maybe I'll do a close-up video of all of those when I have the entire collection. So, up next, we have a trilogy of books based within this video game series that is still going on to this day. They just recently released it in a Viking series kind of realm. Yeah. I'm, of course, talking about none other than Assassin's Creed Forsaken. Yeah. Not bad at all for I think I got this one for $2. So I, can't wait to read this book series. And I know there's several of them. I don't think they're actually in any particular order. I'm sure there probably is. Probably one of those fan sites out there that says, well, you need to read them in this order or whatever in order to understand the full story. I'll just read the book whenever I want my own leisure. So, up next, we have the novelization based on the game itself. We have Assassin's Creed Revelations. Yeah. Now, once again, I've not played the game. I want to play the game. I'll read the novel when I get the chance to. What can I say? Summer's coming up, and I do lots of camping. So, hey, what can I say? Great camping material for reading. And finally, last book in this update, we have another video game-based adaptation. We have none other than Assassin's Creed Unity. Yeah. So, once again, never read the books, never played this particular game. I've only played maybe a handful of them here and there, but I've never beaten them. Because I know they take quite a while to get through, and I just don't have a whole lot of time to sit down and play them all the time, but eventually someday I probably will when I get the chance. So yeah, that's quite the major haul update there on the media files. And so with that, keep in tune here. If you would like any of these to be linked down in the description below, just let me know in the comments, and I will see you on the next update.